All right. Well, I got just what I wanted. I got just what I wanted. Come on. Got just what I wanted from the Lord. Well, I got just what I wanted. I got just what I wanted. I got just what I wanted from the Lord. All right. Woo. All right, it's Sunday Night Live with none other than yours truly, Sir William, and we here in the studio. Oh my gosh! So we had a few little technical difficulties, but we are yet here and together. The devil he can't
Well,
stop
you
it.
Well, see, you gotta understand. Okay. We're in Mercury retrograde. Mercury just came out of retrograde yesterday.
Okay. Oh, this is the astrology.
Yeah, this is the witness of the stars.
Yes.
And
so, what does that entail in the whole?
Well,
universe?
In the book of Genesis, if I can just go there for one moment, in the book of Genesis, chapter 1, we see something very significant around this, which the church has not. Well, I should have said the church, because there are churches that understand this, because that's how Easter.
Right, because Johnny May Coleman, wasn't she a Universalist or?
Yeah, but what I'm bringing us to is that our Easter is a floating holiday. Notice this year our Easter is on the first Sunday. Sometime out in April. Sometime our Easter is in March.
Right.
Sometime our Easter is in April. And the reason our Easter happens the way it happens is because it is selected by the first full moon in Aries. Then the following Sunday becomes Easter. So we cannot worship and know when to worship unless the heavens tell us. But when you begin to look at it in Genesis chapter 1, verse 14, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day and the night. Let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And when we begin to look at it, the Hebrew word there for seasons is the Hebrew word moedim, which means there to be, it's not the seasons like winter, spring, summer, and fall.
Right.
It's the high holy days. So when we begin to look in the scripture, we begin to see that the heavens tell us when the Feast of Tabernacle is. The heavens tell us when Pesach, Passover is. And so these seasons are told to us by the heavens. And when the scripture tells us that the woman wanted to go see the man of God, her husband says it's neither new moon nor Sabbath. So you saw the man of God in the new moon. And that Hebrew word for new moon is Rosh Chodesh, which means the head of the month. So right now, Mercury has just gone out of retrograde. So we're in the post-shadow retrograde. We're in the post, and we will experience the post-shadow, which means it's winding down. Well, it's over, but we're going to still feel the effects of the next 21 days, and then we'll be out of it. So we had the...
You're going to feel the effects of what, though?
The Mercury retrograde, what that looks like, the effects of Mercury retrograde, and what we... And I love the whole aspect of AI.
Right. So we're going to go ask perplexity.
So we're going to use ChatGPT for this one.
Okay.
I'm going to use ChatGPT.
No, that's a good, that gives me my first question. How do you know which AI, which platform is the best?
Okay, I love this. So let's go to ChatGPT, and then we're going to know which one's the best to use. And let's...
For the various things that you're looking for.
Exactly. So let's go to ChatGPT, and I want you to put in here, what is the purpose of Mercury retrograde, and what does Mercury retrograde represent? Now, I know this, but I want you to search for it, and don't take other people's word for it. And then it's important that you get with a trained astrologer to make sure that the data that AI is giving you, because people have quoted AI data and it has been wrong because the AI has not caught up to the astrological settings because enough information has not been put in it. So there's people that are going to ChatGPT and quoting stuff and don't know where to go get original source from. And as a result of that, there's a lot of faulty information out here. Many people don't know I went to Kepler College for 7 years and I'm still in touch with my professors. And my professors still update me and I work through certain things of looking at different techniques and different things of that nature. And we could talk about that because there are some major changes that are getting ready to take place.
So do you consider yourself a metaphysician?
I understand metaphysics, I'll say that. But metaphysics, I look at as just beyond the physical. Metaphysics is beyond the physical, and as far as I'm concerned, that's spirituality.
Okay.
Because you're beyond the physical.
Because a lot of those and I know Paul said I said before y'all a mystery, but a lot of old time sanctified people would tell us, you know, we don't practice astrology. We don't read horoscopes.
We don't.
You know, because I dare to be the first one to say, I don't know, we buy that right now.
And that was because of the ignorance that has been there, right?
Right.
So let me read what this says here about Mercury retrograde here. And we want those of you to know here, please go open up ChatGPT. What does Mercury retrograde represent in astrology, psychologically, spiritually, and in the daily life? Well, Mercury retrograde functions inward, backwards, and sideways. So it functions inward, backwards, and sideways in thinking, speaking, writing, contract deals, travel, movement, technology, and information systems. So right before, 21 days before Mercury was about to go retrograde, AWS went down. A major outage was happening. I knew every year you're going to get one major Mercury retrograde. And this one was it. We told the prophets, be prepared, make plans for your travel. There will be breakdowns in technology. Learn how to dance with it. But Mercury retrograde is not a bad thing. Mercury retrograde, is a time where it's a time for reflection. It's a time when things get held up. Now I'm going to show you something that could be a possible Mercury retrograde in scripture. Are you ready?
Okay.
Mercury retrograde usually lasts for maybe 18 to 21 days or so. There was a prayer that Daniel was praying.
The Daniel fast.
And an angel was held up for how many days? There were 21 days.
Yes.
The angel was held. See, Mercury retrograde will reveal the answer's been released, but it's not yet.
Okay, now I was watching Dr. Cynthia James, who was originally, her church was on 23rd in Oakland, and before Jake's hired her. And she said that was one of the places that, because in the spirit realm it's already done, but in the natural it's not yet. And that's where we get hung up.
Don't make me quicken here.
Come on, I felt you that you did a Elsie, Mother Elsie.
Jesus. Hey! So what happens is, God has already released it. It's already done. But you're in the not yet. Because see, what happens is...
So like when Nathan
Go ahead.
went to Jesse's house.
You mean Samuel, the prophet Samuel, that went to Jesse's
house
to anoint David.
And that he would be king, and then it was at 20 years.
Right, because the person God speaks the word to is not the same person he fulfills the word in. He's given the prophecy to an Abram, but he fulfills it in an Abraham. He gives the prophecy to a Sarai, which means mother of princes, or princely one, and fulfills it as Sarah, which means mother of princes. He gives the prophecy to a Jacob and changes name and fulfills it in an Israel. God always speaks to your potential, not necessary to your experience. Like when I gave the word of the Lord in the early 1990s to Reverend Sharpton and told him he would be a darling in media. And I remember Reverend Jesse Jackson standing there, and the Lord said he's going to wipe away the Tawana Brawley case and a lot of other things, and God was raising his voice in the nation. And Reverend Sharpton looked at Sharpton and said, well, I've got my word, and at that time Mayor Dinkins got his. He says, but yours, he says, we'll have to see about that. And then today, we see where God has raised him up. Anyone can speak a word to your experience, but tell us something that has been hid. Like David did not look like a king. David did not smell like a king. David did not act as a king. David was in a shepherd in a field. The other day, I was prophesying. I was in a service, and a woman was in the line while we were ministering to the people as they were coming in their worship. And this woman says, can I say something in the mic? You gave me a prophecy 20-something years ago. She told me her name, and then I all of a sudden remembered. She was the sister of one of the ministers at our church. She says, as a child, you prophesied that he would be singing and his voice would be around the world. She says, prophet, this is the first time she's seen me in about 25 years. She says, the boy is a professional opera singer singing all over Europe. But that word was spoken to him as an infant. So the prophet is always speaking in the not yet. And the way you know a true prophet is that they got to stand looking like a false prophet long enough until the truth of that word reveals itself.
Oh my. Oh my.
So Mercury retrograde, if I can say this right, it means
they got in all of this, because y'all know I don't know none of this tech.
But
you're gonna teach me.
Oh no,
you're gonna.
Oh no, we're gonna get you're gonna have your studio set up.
Yeah.
Can you see it?
I can.
We've created a model right now that we're going to open up to pastors and leaders and bloggers. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring the bloggers together.
And thank you for that. We had an incredible summit on my day.
Yeah, this is just the beginning. You wait till you see what's getting ready to be created. And we're glad to have Dr. Rodney Sampson here today with us here.
Yes,
right here in the studio.
Yes.
And the work that
sponsor of Streaming Faith,
Pixel, yes. And there's something happening in media. Let me just say this, William, and this is why it's important that we come together. We cannot afford the luxury of fighting each other. I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say this, you know what my stance is. We can't afford the luxury of it because right now, AI is erasing racism. And I know y'all are gonna have, I know people in the chat room right now will begin to start saying, I don't know what's doing that. Yeah. Because right now, AI is on a playing field where everyone is ignorant about what AI is.
Okay.
AI will not replace you, but those that use it will.
But now this is the thing that and one of the questions that I had while we were in the summit, using it, but how do we get to or know if we're using it effectively?
By the measure of your numbers and the measure of its results. So I want everyone just to type in, Lord, get me ready for the future. I want everyone just to type that in right now, wherever you're at. Just type in, Lord.
Move quick.
Get me ready for the future. Okay, I want you to go ahead and type that in right now, wherever you're at. And it's good seeing St. James Show is here.
Yes.
Sean Talk is here.
Yes.
Is here. Ms. Louver is here. Lori Richards is here. Latoya Pamela is here. All of these people are typing, and Lord, get me ready for the future. Because the future is unfolding. So what am I saying about this here? It's just like we've looked at the thing about Mercury retrograde, right?
Right.
And we can begin to start to see this here. What I want to say is that that phrase that you put in there in the spirit realm, it's already done, but in the natural, it's not yet, right? Mm-hmm. Because God's decision precedes human manifestation. That's number one. God's decision will precede human manifestation. The human manifestation hasn't caught up yet. So therefore, there's got to be a decree before delivery. Because we know that the future lives in our mouth.
Right.
Right?
The power of life and death
is in the tongue. And that's why we shared with all of you influencers that you have influence. You're influencing the culture. You're influencing the community. You're influencing the Black church. You're influencing the church. But we were out in a restaurant, but look how many times you got stopped. Look at the woman that came that you didn't even know who she was, and you ended up in a whole conversation with her.
Right.
Because your words have power. Now, when I say that AI is leveling the playing field, you have access to information because knowledge is power. My people are destroyed for
lack of knowledge.
Right now, the knowledge is in the palm of your hand. Mm-hmm. Before you had to pay, when you went to school, did you pay $200 at one point for a textbook?
No way. I got some textbooks, so it's way more than that.
Today, we can show you where you can get all those textbooks for free on AI. They're now made available. And many people don't even know that these resources have been accessible and available, that is in the palm of your hand.
Right.
So when we begin to look at it, Dr. King says, we will not be judged for the content of our skin, but by the content. We would not be judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. What if the content of our character is the ability to use the 26 characters in our alphabet to begin to articulate? Because remember, AI can only do the work based on the quality of the prompt that you've asked it. So now this is where we come into critical thinking. Mm-hmm. Because the power in the courtroom does not come from the person answering the questions, but answering the questions, the power is in the person that is asking the questions. Mm-hmm. You've got to know how to question AI. And that's what we teach people in our masterclass, how to question it, because it's like a genie in a lamp. If you know how to put the request in, mm-hmm. you'll get the results, which opens you up to a whole different world. Mm. But only a very low percentage of the population is using it.
They're using it, or because it also has been presented in such a way where a lot of people are literally frightened of it, but you know, because you know they're saying the things where they're imitating people or making stuff look real that's not real, and that can be dangerous or can be make you appear that you're doing something that you didn't do, or that you're at a place where you haven't been located.
Yes.
You know, they have my picture of doing stuff. And I told myself, well, the Jesus said, bring my accusers to me.
But wait, I want to say this is the new norm, and we're going to have to adjust to it. So isn't this now an age where discernment is going to be critical? Like, we've taken things and we have made a judgment because of something we've seen, but haven't gotten the context around what we've seen.
Oh,
and
that is
wait. I want everybody to type in. Context is decisive.
Context.
Type in right now. Context is decisive. Because a lot of times people will make a judgment from one picture and never ask the context of that picture. And when we understand that context is decisive, now we begin to start to ask, what was the context of that? Yes, that was said,
Yeah.
right? But what is the context of it? And what
What's
happened?
that backstory?
What is the backstory? What is it that we need to understand about the setting that was communicated in?
The plot thickens.
Yeah. So therefore, now the discernment, the ability to discern a moment, and we want to be able to have precious moments, right, and not minimize moments, and learn to have powerful moments, and take the moment for what it is. But I want to also say this too. Our brains are meaning-making machines. And because we're always making meaning out of things, sometimes it's not the thing that was done, but it's the meaning that was applied to it that produces the upset around
it. Now, how do we properly pronounce it? Mercury retrograde.
Retrograde.
Okay. So, was your encounter a part of Mercury retrograde?
Everything in this season is part of Mercury retrograde. Delays, retrieval, because Mercury is looking back. It's pulling back, which is bad, right? It's looking back. It's reflective. It's a reflection moment. There's a time in Western astrology, we look at it negatively.
Okay.
In Eastern astrology, Vedic astrology, they look at it as it is reflective. It is not malefic. It's a benefic moment. So we've used it as a time now where we are in prayer, in meditation. It's a reflective. Because remember, the devil did not create the stars. God did. A matter of fact, the stars is the first handwriting of God in the sky, right? The Bible says the heavens declare the glory of God. So that's the glory of God being declared. And there's a time and a season for everything under the sun. And this is a time to be reflective. So we've used this as a reflective moment. When we met with the bloggers and some of the leaders, it was a reflective moment. It was a reflective. And it says, do not sign contracts during that time unless you want to repeat it. Do not get operations during that time unless you want the operation to be done over again. And there's certain things that you will choose to do during this time. Like I know of a person that makes sure that their lawyer has, how do I say this? That they make sure that their lawyer has their opposition always signed during Mercury retrograde.
So it can be repeated.
Yeah.
With
And
a plot
this
thickens.
year is a problem. So we begin to know, Lord, teach me how to number my days so I can apply my heart to wisdom. And that's
now, how do we teach people that that's not witchcraft?
but
Because the average ignorant kind of sanctified person is going to immediately
right, exactly.
go right into that. Because I felt that rise up in me when you said that.
Well, that's right.
Not, that's that, and not like you said, ignorance, but that goes into that old feeling of sorcery.
Right. So you'll have that which is, we consider it low church and high church. So where you get high church understands that Christmas originally was a floating holiday. Easter's a floating holiday. Judaism would never say that astrology is witchcraft. Why? Because we use the heavens to dictate the times to worship. All religions uses the heavens to dictate times of worship. We as Pentecostals, we go to a calendar to look because we don't know how to read the heavens. And we don't have our bishops and leaders that have studied the heavens enough to even question when is the time that we are to begin to look at the heavens as far as when these type of things and events take place. So when you start looking at this, we could even probably look at that. We're in a time now where some will call the Feast of Lights, that the light came into the world around this time of the year, right? And the light is coming into the womb. And then 9 months later, if you look around the end of December or in January, some celebrate Old Christmas, we begin to look 9 months later, it would be in September around that time, which would be the Feast of Tabernacles. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. So, and which actually meant in the Greek, tabernacled among us. So when we begin to look at that, the Feast of Tabernacles could be the time when the Word was made manifested and began to tabernacle among us. So
is that why we say when in death, when we say that that when this earthly tabernacle be dissolved.
Yes. And that's what we begin to understand. Every one of us is a word sent from God. And we are a sentence, we are a word, we are a verse. We are a word sent from God to manifest a purpose here on earth. And therefore, I need to understand the purpose of my word as a word connected with your word, with you as a word. And what is the sentence that we form together? Because unless 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, I am in your midst. And so God gets in the midst of relationship, not singularity, not isolation. And that was one of the things that we dealt with in our gathering was the danger of isolation. When you go to the hospital, they put you in isolation unit, you know, you're sick.
Right.
So I want everyone to type in isolation is the new poverty. Type that in. Isolation is the new poverty.
I have to ask you, so yeah, you know who you sitting with.
I am sitting with the new and improved Sir William McCray.
Right. But I got a little sprinkle of the old.
Yes,
a little dab to do.
And we want the old to stay present because guess what? The old is what gives us you.
That's it.
You know, we don't want to take out.
So I like this with the spiritual aspect because that your encounter yesterday, was that a manifestation of Mercury retrograde?
I'm gonna say my encounter yesterday was a God moment because it wasn't planned. It was not planned at all. A matter of fact, it was so shocking until it was my assistant, Chef Aubrey, that began to say, I think that's Larry there. But I said, no, that can't be Larry. And we walked up closer and I looked and I said, wow, yes, it is. And it was a moment where when I saw, I came up behind him and hugged him and the young man, the young pastor that was with him. And we began to embrace, right? And that was a moment. In that moment, I found love was present. I was so clear that love was present. We hadn't talked in 13 months. We crossed paths, we hugged, and just kept it moving. That's really what it was. We hugged and kept it moving. It was a moment of respect. It was not a reconciliation meeting. You know, I don't want anyone to think it was a reconciling meeting. My wife walked up and she didn't know that was happening. She was coming out of the store. She saw the picture. And she walked up and hugged Larry as well, right? And so we want people to know it was a moment of respect. And it was a moment that I believe, because during that time, Pastor Jennings and his wife, which I met for the first time, happened to walk. We were standing in the middle of the mall there, Lennox. Travis came down the elevator and said, oh my God, what's going on? I had a dream about all of this. You know, he went on to that. And Travis, Lord. So that happened, and then other people had stopped around. And so it was that moment. We could not have
You could not have created that.
No, we couldn't have created that. And I don't think either one of us wanted to create that on a natural level. Because I don't think our egos would allow us to create that.
Mm.
Right? Because it becomes who calls who first.
Right.
Right.
And why is that always emphasized?
Because
that I always have to be the one that oh they call. I call because I want to know.
yeah. Well, you know,
That's the journalist in me. I'm gonna make that. I'll make that difficult call. I'll make that difficult call, and a lot of times it is difficult. I will call you and ask you, did you have sex with so and so? I do. I have to ask those questions with some of the stories that I do. Did you do it, and how did you do it, and how many times, and how long?
yeah, and then they might say, well, this is really none of your business because the last time I understood sex is really a private moment.
But once it becomes a thing, then you have to ask, you have to inquire. And so I know that they emphasized, and a lot of stuff was, said. For the critics, Bishop, how did you ever have foresight? Because I see you as the and you embody that. You are the master prophet. You don't have to. We have some of the people that operate in the prophetic gift that have to go into the shouting and the dancing. They got to stir up the gift. Mm-hmm. But you can just tap right in. Did you ever see or feel or have any kind of idea or indication that there will be a parting of ways?
Not like this. I didn't see this. I would, if I had seen it, it would have been different. I didn't see this coming. And I think that was one of the things I expressed when I said that I loved too much or loved too hard.
So when you say you didn't see it coming, you didn't see the I'm not asking about seeing the encounter. I'm asking, did you see that there would be a
break in a relationship?
Yeah.
Like this, yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I did not see this coming. And my wife also expressed this as well. And what we mean by that is that we've always had people come in and out of our lives that leave and exit. We understand that there is always exits and entrance and exits.
That's right. With preachers and pastors, you like Hartsfield Jackson Airport.
Yeah,
Daddy says he never gets moved by members that leave the church because the people are making arrivals and departures all the time.
Right, and life is filled with hellos and goodbyes. So that's why when this happened, and I think what the thing is that yesterday that Larry did say, he said it wasn't about the vote at because I said to him, you made me almost look like I was a MAGA person.
You said that to his face.
Oh yeah. We had that, I said, Larry, he said, no, it was never about the vote. It was never about the vote.
So what was it about?
He says, the Spirit told him. And
what spirit?
William, this is probably not the place to begin.
No, I just said, what spirit are you operating in?
Because we can't answer that. That would only be
something that he can answer.
And it probably needs to be in a discussion. Social media is not this place where reconciliation can take place. And I think we need to set that as a premise.
Why is that, Bishop?
Because it needs to have professional people around. For reconciliation to take place, and there may never be a reconciliation. Mm-hmm. But for reconciliation to take place, we need to look at a couple of things. There needs to be agreements. Right? Mm-hmm. There needs to be a place where your word is given. There needs to be accountability. It's like a marriage. what is your word in this matter? What is the agreement? What is the part that you're going to own in this breakdown? What is the part that they'll own in the breakdown? That will go, that's reconciliation.
So that's why we really needed, for Jives and I, that we really needed.
But it wasn't, but I think we need to be clear, it wasn't just you and Jives. There was also 3 psychologists in the room.
Right.
Right? There was a process that was being worked through. Reconciliation don't happen overnight.
No.
I mean, we're now doing weekly meetings together with the group of us.
Absolutely.
It does not happen overnight, and I think.
And then also, and that was one of the things that we have talked about, is that we have had to make sure, and have had to sometimes fight through remaining committed to it.
Well,
because people, the outside influences, would want to see or continue the animosity, negativity, to see that continue to play out. So, how, when you said love was present,
I felt nothing here stopped me from hugging him.
Is that because you were the recipient of because sometimes the initiator of the fight, I think a lot of times has a more difficult time coming to that moment of admitting I'm wrong, that moment of saying or taking responsibility, because you were the recipient of the offense, if it could be called that. Would that have been what gave you the freedom to be able to go up and to embrace them?
Well, let's
because you embraced a man that said, I'm gonna make your wife cry. And make us understand, when you saw him, love was present. So I want you to be able to help us when we see, because that's so powerful. Because when you see someone that has said something, I was honest with you. I told you, I said, when I first see Jives, I don't know how I will react. I don't know what emotion will come out of me, because it's been some rough things. So to see the man that says, I am going to release diabolical information that is going to make your wife cry, and you are the patriarch of your family, you're the protector, and to say, and when you saw him, that love was present, a lot of people have problems with fighting and killing, but that's all in the Bible.
Yeah, but I would like to say this. I had to take responsibility in my heart, right? The Bible says, you forgive your brother 70 times 7.
And it says, if I regard iniquity in my heart.
Right. So I can't afford unforgiveness. And that's why it took me months before I even came to the platform. Because I wanted to make sure I was not spewing anything that was hurtful.
Yes.
Or bitterness. I wanted to come from a space of being healed and whole, and still practicing through my process. I don't want to ever feel as though I'm the victim, okay? Because I'm not a victim. I take responsibility for my own emotions, and I take responsibility for how I've handled it. If I'm in a relationship with you, I don't get married for divorce.
Right.
I get married for people come and go, but people don't go. I mean, there's people that have left us. We have a ton of people that have left us, that have grown, that has left us. My brother-in-law, the church I've been with, he has left us about 3 or 4 times, right? But it was never where he's left us and then tried to attack us at the same time. People have gone, and they've gone peacefully. We respect each other's boundaries. Grace is there, and they can always walk back through the door again. And the same love that they left with is present if they ever choose to we bump into each other's path. That's how we've seen exit. We've never seen an exit where a person that you felt had love for their family, and then all of a sudden you've had to it was almost taboo for other people that you've eaten with, that you've dined with, that you've had relationship with, you've embraced each other.
Yeah.
And then from that, your children, or my grandchildren played with their children.
Exactly. And that can be very difficult, because I even have some college buddies that when they divorce, I have one friend, I can't say his name, but I have one friend that I think of right now. His ex-wife, well, you came, you called him, or you went to, and I got attacked. Well, I didn't have nothing. I wasn't married to y'all.
Right.
Both of y'all were and are my friends, and so. And I think that I guess that takes some true maturity, right?
Right, because see, you can greet a person in peace without rewriting our history. And I was hoping that when the picture was posted, we told Travis you had permission to post it. We didn't realize, we saw where it touched many hearts.
Mm-hmm.
But we saw where there was people that was not happy that that moment happened, that neither one of us orchestrated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm here in Atlanta.
Because that's what I said at first. And when I saw it, I said, "Oh, okay."
No,
I just have to be straightforward and say, well, I was like, oh, okay. Well, somebody called somebody and they decided, oh, we're gonna meet at a mutual, common ground or safe, territory or what have you, and that may be. And then I will be very frank. I think as a part of me at some point was somewhat, I think it would have been nice. I think it would have been good for the body of Christ if it had been. I was very disappointed.
I am really surprised to hear you talk like this.
Well,
you really get in the mood. Do you have any tissues here?
Because I bring forth a lot of these and have been responsible for a lot of these kind of stories being brought to, the forefront. And so it kind of would have been nice. I will say this, and I'll say it to him. I was really kind of disappointed and going back to even a level of wondering, disturbed by the response. Why do we keep getting these really salacious, out of control responses, and then you choose not to do it, and because see, I've never been two-faced. That's not me. Y'all can call me a lot of things. I know y'all do, but You can call me a lot of things, but you can't call me two-faced. If I don't like you, I can't stand you. I hate your mom. I hate your dog. I hate your cat. I hate your grandma. I hate everybody and everything associated in and around you. I'm not going to your page because I'm not interested. And so and the reason that I say that, Bishop, is that I don't understand to have the level of vitriol, but he does not say it on his platforms, or he doesn't speak it on his platforms, but he has relationships, and he goes there to sort of unveil. And I just saw a different side last night because I had never seen him high, and so I was just like really, I thought that was really bizarre.
Well, I get your assessment because I did watch it, and there were some things that.
But we watched a lot of it together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We watched it together in the car. But I would like to say this. We didn't orchestrate the moment. We just refused to be enemies in the public. I'll say that. And if God ever writes reconciliation in the script, because God wrote in the script that moment would take place, because neither one of us had anything to do with it, it won't be a surprise hugging them all. It'll be a real process where a real conversation can take place. Like what happened with you and Jai's real conversation happened in that moment. But look at the work that Dr. Strayhorn did, the work that Coach Jean did, the work that Dr. Clark did.
Did God have to break it up because it was cursed at the root?
I don't know what you.
Should you have never encountered him? Should you have never encountered, embraced, brought this Absalom spirit into your house and into your space and into your family?
If I had not done that, we would be sitting here today. You and Josh would still be allowed to each other. And for that, I'm grateful. You and St. James, you would be calling him the names you were calling him, and he would be calling you the names, and y'all had all kind of names, and I'm glad to see y'all surrender that. Because the church world, there needs to be a sanitized group of bloggers. A sanitized group that can really begin to cause the community to rise to the space where they can begin to make massive influence on a global level. We don't have to build platforms on taking other people down.
And I think that's a misconception, because I know.
I'm not saying that y'all are taking anyone down. I'm just
saying. No, but a lot of people think that they have that ability, and at one time I think he did. I'm not in competition because I'm in a league and a class all by myself.
Well,
see, I don't have to chase nobody because I've always been the catch. And so when I hear some of the commentary that I hear, oh, he's so sensitive. I can't be in this business for 15 years and be sensitive. And some of the things that I've done and accomplished and be a person that is emotionally unstable and unbalanced, and I would not be able to be and embody fully who I am as a modern day sweet daddy Grace, and be weak.
But eventually what will start to happen is a lot of things. Jesus said this, he said, the prince of this world have nothing in me. There will be the days that will come that people put all kinds of labels on me. I mean, people have stuck a lot of labels on me, and I've got some interesting labels that were put on me in the
within this parting of ways.
And I was like what? We need this whole new labels. and the level of disrespect.
To say the least.
And then what I had to begin to learn how to do is practice forgiveness. And this was something that was said to me about 16 years ago when I was working with some coaches. They said to me, and that's where I got the statement from, they says, Bishop Jordan, you must learn that forgiveness is a mountain with no top. And I said, what do you mean? This says you're going to have to keep forgiving. You'll never arrive. Because Jesus said 70 times 7 in a day. Forgiveness is a practice. It's not an arrival. So I had to.
And you know why this story is so and been so big, and I've thought about it, and it came to me today. This story is so big because we have not, in the Black Pentecostal Church, we have not seen it since Earl Carter's blatant disrespect of our former and emerita bishop, presiding Bishop Charles Harrison. I'm sorry, Charles Edward Blake. And it's almost when I look at it, it mirrors that almost line by line and precept by precept. I can remember the day. I can roll back in my mind the day when Earl first went live and began to spew just venomous and vicious things by the man that was really the Prince of Pentecost. I mean, Bishop and Lady Mae Blake brought a level of intelligence and class and sophistication to, because the old church, Pentecostal people were ignorant, now they're speaking in tongues, they ignorant, they crazy, or what have you. And so to see, they brought it started with Gilbert Earl Patterson and Louise, but he just perfected it, wow. And so I liken it to that same sense.
But let me just say something. What makes leadership great is that forgiveness didn't change the facts. Let's get this straight. Forgiveness didn't change the facts, but forgiveness changes my freedom. And that's why it's necessary. And then the other thing I want to say, I don't forgive because they deserved it. That's not why I forgive. I forgive because my future deserves it. You see, reliving in the past, and that's why when I was...
that's what you was teaching me.
Yeah.
That I could not go forward until I had to let that stuff go.
Right, you can't drive on the rearview mirror. And that's why I was hoping that when Travis took, he was the first one to get one of the first ones to get the poster picture. Every time since you go ahead and post it, I thought it would have been more of a celebratory moment. Saying,
it could have been. It had the potential. It really had the potential, but it was, I have to hurry up and revolt.
Yeah, that this has ever happened.
And contradict and cast it away and cast it down.
Yeah, minimize it. Minimize a moment. But I will still say love was present. And I want to, use Dr. Reid's words. Yes, it was not a kumbaya. Anybody would know you don't have a reconciliation moment in the mall. Okay? It's like nobody, a man or woman don't meet in the mall, so let's get married right here, right? Because there's other parties that you would need to consider in that process. And when I said we, before I've taken on a relationship with anyone, I involve my community, my family. You saw that. you met every one of the children in my family. You met every one of my adult children. You met my grandchildren. You met the people that embodies and we've had our thing, we've had our own fallout. And you've said some things that was very hurtful. And that came up in the moment there as well. But we love you, we don't hold that. And when that even came up in the room, we says, this is the impact, but then we also know that our future is worth and deserve the letting go of that.
Absolutely. Right? And also, if we can let it go because you can admit when one like myself has the maturity and the ability to say that I was confused, I was hurt, I had wrong people in my ear, and was speaking from a place of confusion, crying out, not knowing, what were things.
But you don't even have to explain all of that anymore because you don't even need to. Because see, what forgiveness does, it don't need you to rehearse or rehash. Right?
Right.
We want to move on from the rehearsal and the rehashing of it. And that's why we want it, because a lot of times people say they're complete and they're not complete. There's got to be, you need to start looking at what's the difference from being complete and being finished. You can be finished with someone. So Larry and I, we're finished with each other, but we're not complete with each other. We are finished, but not complete. When Jesus said it was finished on the cross, it wasn't complete because he had to come back and visit with them. And he had said, thrust your hands into my womb, Thomas, because you're still doubting. Now, when he had said that Pentecost came, it was complete, but now another comforter has come. And so we're finished with each other. It will never go back to what it was. But when you're finished with someone, and I remember I was going through this with my with one of my coaches in one of the sessions. I said, well, I'm complete. She said, you're not complete. I said, yes, I am. I'm very complete. She said, no. She says, you're finished with it, but you're not complete. Because you can be finished with something and still have regret. Finished with something and still have resentment. Finished with something and still have upset. But when you're complete, you're whole, and you're able to move forward like it has never happened. You and I got complete.
Yes.
And that's the point that I wanted to make when you said at one point, no, it's not fair, that. And then I reached back and said, but William, do you remember? And I said, and then this person was impacted by it. That person was impacted by it.
Yeah.
And I said, and you embraced it and said, okay. And it was a moment, and it wasn't like it was brought up to say, I'm gonna get you at this point.
Right.
That's what letting go feels like, because it's not in the space no more. And it brings about wholeness. And it's like it's you're whole.
Yeah.
I mean, you just whole. You're whole in what you do. You're whole with our family. I mean, here you were sitting this evening down at the table with my mother-in-law.
Yeah.
And with my brother-in-law. And with the family.
With family. Very intimate moments
See, that's what
very special.
That's what completion looked like. And and I believe the day will come when the community that is starting to form is that y'all have each other's back, because y'all will understand what completion looks like.
Yeah.
And that I am incomplete without you. And that's the thing, you know, in martial arts, when we fight, you know, 'cause many people don't know I'm a fifth dan black belt in jiu-jitsu. So, and all my sons are black belts. So we've been doing it for years, yeah, that's why we keep fighting. But when you fight, you have someone with you, you have a person that has your back, no matter what. So, you know, you've got back-to-back combat. And so it's kind of challenging when you have somebody that has your back, stab your back. Because you don't
have the courage. See, if I'm gonna cut you, I'm gonna cut you in your liver and watch you bleed out.
Well,
see, I'm not. It's no faking me.
Well,
no, that don't.
But there must,
I'm gonna walk up and I'm and with a smile.
But there must live forgiveness in you.
I forgive. I'm forgiving as I watch you. As I watch like Jesus, the blood and water come out.
But you know what? but the scripture still declares, vengeance is mine.
Saith the Lord. And sometimes I feel like but he works through people.
But you don't have to be the person that is working through your resistance. We don't want you to take that lesson home. Do not read the gospel of McCrae.
That's in book. That's in McCrae, book 3, chapter.
So I want you to do not take McCrae 3:16.
But God so loved. But wait a minute. What do we do about? What is that? 1 Corinthians 5, and he said, "Take this boy's flesh and turn it over to the devil."
All right,
his soul
watch your voice.
Might be saved.
So when we begin to understand this, you know, God has given us, God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and love and of a sound mind. Grief dwells on the past. Fear dwells on what's present. But faith moves to what's future. And that's where we want to move. We want to move to leading from the future. So we want that. Now, let me just, what I want to do, because this is a holiday season.
Yes.
And it's Black Friday. Tomorrow will be Cyber Monday. We only have about 31 more days, 32 days left in the year.
Right.
And this is a time when people reflect on family. Some people are not talking to family members, have nothing to do with family members. Working through their own process, whether there's guilt or shame or letting go. And I pray that this becomes a moment that you can work through this. We wouldn't be in Georgia right now if it wasn't for my wife's sister had passed.
Yes.
And she flew from New York to be with her mother that morning. And that evening, she left out and just went on home to be with the Lord. And it kind of brought the family together in a way. And she's younger than us. So that kind of just makes you kind of reflect on how short life is.
Yeah.
And through that, my brother-in-law, they had wanted me to do the eulogy. I said, no, I think you should do it. You're the patriarch in this family.
Right.
And you need to take that role. A lot of times we have to know how to step back and allow other people to take their roles and to become the supportive aspect. And so we were glad that he did a great job in preaching that sermon, you know, about death. The casket is not the end. See, most people see the casket as the end, the grave is the end. No, that's not the end. That's the beginning of a whole new life and season. But we prophesied that there would be a lot of individuals that would leave out between now and February 10th. Her birthday happened to be February 10th, which was like a real shock to us that she had left at this time. But then again, too, she was a walking miracle because she was supposed to be gone 5 years ago. They had only given her 3 to 6 months to live. And she took the 5-year package. And so she walked out her faith. And so my wife was grieving in the process of it, and we were, working with this as a family. And so this is why we were there. So we've been going back and forth more because we had to preach this morning. So I said,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, I forgot to get a white shirt.
That's right. And then y'all were just had a holiday on the cruise
Oh, yeah,
and
we
in
had
the
all cruise wear. We
Yeah.
had no suits or nothing. And so I had to get stuff ready for the funeral and all this type of stuff. And my wife looked at me and says, only Pam could have brought this together. To her, she felt like it was her sister bringing, because all of my mother-in-law, all of her siblings had all been together for the first time. Some brothers that she hadn't seen for 30 years. They went silent. All of them showed up at this event. And so when my wife looked at it, she said, this is Pam's doing. And then we went on back, and she was at peace with it. She was just at peace. And I believe her words were, we should never burn bridges. We never know when we may cross them again.
That's right.
And so anyway, that is where that was at. So I'm going to ask those of you that are social media, like, listen, don't make anything more out of it. Two men that hadn't spoke to each other for 12 or 13 months ran into each other. It was nothing more than that. We're not making up. We're not coming together. Don't worry, no one's taking your place.
Yeah, no one can take my place.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
No one's taking your place, right?
No.
Don't want to get all bothered. It just really we conversed. Love was present. I will say that. I felt love was present on my end. Now, I don't know what people.
Well, you have no iniquity in your heart. You're not harboring anything. And I think the only thing that really makes it is somewhat, I guess, to any kind of level of intriguing is the ambiguity of the why. And you're being very ambiguous about, why, what, 1 minute you were saying, oh, he was at the White House, and then this. So, just what, let's get to the groveling of the issue. What is the reason, if there is one? And then just as of late, I share with you the information that he sent, and I think he sent it to me, and then he sent it to Marcellus from was it Bishop Calvin Blake?
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of sad that what people do. And you just have to bless them. You have to bless those that despitefully use you, because, they put.
The Lord said, love them. Love those.
And that's why you have to let it be.
Mm-hmm.
Because vengeance is still the Lord.
And I tell you, and what God can do and how he handles things and handles people. I've watched anyone that has ever, the Lord has allowed me to live to see. So you have to be careful. He said, touch not.
Well, I can only pray for them. I think Calvin only had one conversation, it was a three-way conversation with someone on the phone with him that was going on about a situation that I didn't care for, and
he recorded it.
Without my permission.
Yeah. It's diabolical. A foul, demonic spirit that would set up habitation to
Well,
do something like
again,
that.
I'm blindsided by it. But the thing is that
But the beauty of it is that the Holy Ghost would still, he guides us into all truth, and it would not even allow, and the protection. That's how what the Spirit says. You make groaning and intercessions where you wouldn't even though you're not aware, you would not even take a conversation somewhere that would be inappropriate, or that it would be any concrete or anything to it.
you know, a lot of people speak to me as a prophet about things confidentially, because we're navigating in so many different people's lives.
Right.
And one thing I pray for the clergy, and that is, this is so, whatever this conversation is that they want to take on, I pray that they understand that when we talk with people in the clergy, hopefully it's a safe space, especially for prophets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I believe he calls himself a prophet as well.
Oh, that's it.
And
well, maybe he should record some of his conversations.
but there's people that share stuff with me, and in conversation, I just don't record.
Or that they share because they have confidence and faith of the God man that is in you, and you would keep them to because a lot of people they're in despair, Bishop. They you may be the last stop.
Exactly, but not only that, it's also troublesome because I know the lives that are impacted. If it's I only had one conversation when I was in with him, and that was because somebody patched me into that. But the fact of the matter is, that was the thing that came up before with the other blogger, the D. That was Darryl Moore, yeah. He
does I believe I graduated from I matriculated through Morehouse, but I guess that's because he lied about being an Omega and he wasn't an Omega.
But and that's what I'm hoping, that all that kind of noise kind of disappears, because it doesn't do anything for us as a community. It doesn't do anything for us as leaders, and it just doesn't do anything.
But that's becoming a popular thing now. I had a story that recently was brought to me. One of your colleagues, a popular prophet as well, was recorded and put into a three-way conversation that he was not aware of. And the person was directing the conversation so that they would say and respond in such a way. And so he later found out that he was recorded. I've been recorded many a times. I had someone record me, and they said, "Oh, you said such and such," and so they got in the van, and they said, "Oh, you recorded, or you was recorded," and you said, "Yeah." And I looked him in his face. I said, "Bishop," I said, "your son is a faggot." That's what I said. And when I said on the recording, I'm saying to you in this van, to your face now, and I need that $50 for this ride, and y'all can go and get out here on the corner, because whatever it was that what y'all was trying to do, I guess you thought I was gonna back down or cry or run or be scared. That's not gonna happen here. So, you know, y'all, they call me all the time. We're going to record it. Going to put the tape out. Yeah, release. They say they got sex tapes of me or whatever. Put it out. Put it out. Kim Kardashian, y'all put her sex tape out. She became a billionaire. So put it out or release it.
It's one thing it's about me, but it's just that some of the people and the parties that are involved in it.
Your concern is the impact.
I'm concerned about that on other people. I can survive this. This is not.
This minister.
So I have there's nothing here. I'm clear on this head. My love for people is what my love is for people. Whatever the people want to try to make that into, that is on them. But that's not here. Listen, I've been out here on the road for 40-something years. Like I told you, if there was anything, if there was an issue,
I would have known it by now. They would have, listen, let me tell you, y'all would have told me, in this man I find no fault. Because I know they would have told me.
I'm wondering why are they so fascinated with trying to make this into something? I mean, just to create it. But then when we look in scripture, Joseph was never justified or clear about the situation in Potiphar's house.
No.
He had to walk through that process. And so sometimes the process...
And even appeared to be guilty.
Yeah. Because
he lost it. He lost that case and was in sentence.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, but yet it put him in the end in Potiphar's, and made him prime minister.
Yes.
So he had to get the PPP package. He had to go from the pit, this is the PPP package,
yeah,
the pit to Potiphar's house to the prison to get to prime minister. So sometime what you have to go through, God will tell you what you will come to, but not what you'll go through. And this is just another test of the segment of my own life and experience. And I get it. I get it. I get it.
This is one
of the chapters. And I own it. And listen, I love it because from it I'm getting to get the lesson. And again.
And then the person that they accuse you of, when you picked someone so much better.
Well, see, I don't even know where that even comes from because see, that's not even on my that's not on my radar. I'm just saying. Look, I'm 66 years. I'm 66 years old. 66 years young. That's not in my radar.
But I just said the person that they picked. Yeah, look, y'all. Let's go. Let's get somebody else.
Let's leave from a future right now, right? Because when we leave from,
but I had to give them a little bit of the old way. We gonna go on to the future. I'm gonna get back and behave the rest of y'all. I can't even see what they're saying in the chat.
And that might be a good thing. that may be a good thing that you're not seeing what they're saying in the chat because now you don't get triggered.
So we can get back. Now we got y'all got just what you wanted. I got what I wanted.
Okay, I'll tell you what they said. Bethany says, "Oh my God, William, please stop it." Someone says William should be talking about nobody looks. Somebody says child by cultural intelligence movement.
Somebody, I shouldn't be talking about anybody's looks. I look good.
But you don't know.
Let's see how you look. Let's see how you look, because you look like somebody that should be behind a lock and key in a cage. Orangutan. That's why you don't have your picture up. Your mama knew you was ugly.
See, and someone said here, Larry turned on Bishop Jordan because he sold black people out by supporting Trump. Larry was right. See, and that was one of the things I said, Larry, I said, because no one out of all of the years have ever known how I voted.
Right,
it was never. I never allowed that because I knew I was a prophet to a nation, not to a party.
Right.
And I never brought that to the pulpit. I have the Republicans in my church. I have Democrats in my church. I minister to people in all different spectrums of society.
And have stood and ministered and prophesied to before at the United Nations.
Exactly, and to kings and queens of nations. So it would not be, it's not proper for my office. Now, I'm not saying what other people are called to do for my office. This was the first time I was put on a stage to talk about my personal politics. And like I said to Larry the first day, I said, there's a curtain that went around. I said, you'll never know. And, but he took it upon himself to use that moment. And so that comment in the chat room just now comes from that. If I would have never have met a Larry, then a comment like that would have not been able to have landed. Because we never knew Bishop George. He doesn't bring that to the
But you know, I will say this: it's a lot of, we have a lot of sanctified and people that feel that being Republican and voting Republican is a part of their, or connected to their salvation. We fought for the right to be able to go in and vote. But there's a lot of people that did vote for him, and they did not necessarily feel that they would have gotten hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray like they have. And then you have some people that are able, or that have admitted and said, you know, I did vote for him. I have people right in my family, and that did, and that should not. That you have the right. I would be more angry with you as a Black man if you didn't exercise the right, more so than concerned about who you cast your ballot for.
See, because and I got that.
Y'all don't like that kind of teach.
Because see, if you don't vote, you've already agreed to be voiceless.
Exactly.
And that was the point, that we have a lot of our people that don't vote, period, which means they signed up to become voiceless individuals. And so when we begin to see this, that became a thing. And then I get it. He's saying, you know, and that's why it's going to be a minute before reconciliation can take place, because he says it's not about the vote. And it'll be those that we need to go pull back the videos and say, but wait a minute, I've been colored because this person just said in the chat room out of nowhere, I betrayed Larry by the way I vote. How can I? Hold a minute. I am one person. Let's say I voted for Trump. Imagine if I voted for Trump. And then what happens if I reveal and says, no, I voted for Kamala? Now, are all of y'all going to repent?
Right.
Are all of you going to go to the stage and says, we're sorry, Bishop Jordan? Are we going to all say, you know, at the end of the day, what came out of that? But they made that. And that's why we've got to move on to the future, because it's done. That was over. But that was no need to make a breakup. And then after that says, you know, the Spirit said, it's just, it's a moment, right? And every time it comes up, I got to practice letting it go.
Yeah.
Letting it go. So yes, we're finished, but we're nowhere near complete. And we may never be complete.
This. Mm-hmm. You've been in ministry how many years?
Since full-time ministry since 1983.
Full-time ministry since 1983. And there's never been anybody that has made a sexual allegation against you, huh?
No. Okay. No, it's been a one wife.
You're the husband of one wife.
I love my wife. I love my family.
You're a bishop for real. So no one has ever come in and said, "Oh, when I was such and such, and during I was groomed and I was vulnerable, and Bishop Jordan took advantage of me in this manner." Cut. Hold that for a second.
Like, They got the sound person here saying, "What's going on here?" Well, that's not even on our, that's not even on our radar.
Right.
But
I'm just saying that, but that's the vessel that this kind of flows from.
Really. And how old is the person that said they were being groomed?
I know 4 or 5 that they were groomed, and they said that they were groomed during their that they were groomed when they were young. So, yeah, when they were, I guess they were teens.
Jesus. We have not heard of that.
Well, no, they had contacted me. So I was just wondering, but you have never had an allegation like that.
No.
Yeah, and I would never have one because I don't even like kids. I don't even know. Oh God.
I can't even.
Oh, they cry, they move, they have strange smells. I just said, no, I can't take them. No, away. I can't probably even count the times I held my nieces and nephews.
So is this the thing that they're trying to is this the thing that they're trying to?
No. What I'm saying is the source of the breakdown from, and that was one of the things that rekindled Larry and I's relationship, because again, I'm always accused of making the call, but I had to call and say, like, or is this really, did you do these things? And the unfortunate part is that sometimes when you have people that have been abused, and he's been able to come forward and be very transparent about being a victim, and then and not only even in our interview that he articulated that he was abused, and then he became in love with his abuser, and he was very sad when the man moved away and felt like he had left him and betrayed him. And then not only was he just abused by one, but then it was a group of, I think, like 6 men that he was, unfortunately, I guess for the right term, kind of passed around. And so I think it's a lot of sometimes unresolved issues in them sometimes. But the other part of it is that makes you nervous is that a lot of times people that have abused or been abused follow that trend and become abusers.
Yeah, that's just some of the things that are said, and that's where people need to get support and get help in that area there.
And that's why I'm just saying that a lot of times you have to, when you have people that operate and say things, you have to look at them in their totality and not just that particular instance or that particular piece of their life. You got to look at like we say, the backstory, and people that are out here and other people that call yourself bloggers, and bloggers get the content, get to the gravamen, get the who, get the what, get the when, get the why and the how, get the facts before you go onto your platforms and you spew things that are many times are extremely ridiculous. Shouts out to Prophet Lovey, who just came on Black Friday into a victory with the woman that made allegations against him, and he was at the time he was a single man. So even if they had been true, he's still a man, and he was single at the time. There was no child conceived. So what would he have been guilty of? And so that's why I said that they have to be responsible. Just don't click on and go live and you sitting there because you heard somebody say, just like Daryl. You brought up Daryl Moore, the cigar blogger. A woman told him she paid me $500 to be in a movie that she was down here trying to produce. First of all, if you're going to use my image and likeness, it's going to be way more than $500. And you had never called me. You never asked me. I don't even know who the lady is. Then I was called an extortionist, and I've never extorted anybody.
Well, that's why we're praying that, again, this will be upgraded type of conversations, right? Y'all influencers, y'all are talking to thousands of people. You got to be mindful that when you say things, when you say things as preachers from the pulpit, we now got to be accountable for it. It goes out into social media. It goes out into the space. But I believe that, you meet no one but you. That's why you got to do the work on the inside of you. Some of the stuff is literally foreign to me because that's not.
Now that was something to type in the chat. That'll preach.
What's that?
You meet no one but you.
Yeah, I learned that from Reverend Knight. You meet no one but you.
He was iconic.
Yeah, everyone you meet is some aspect of you pressed out. So when you are an individual, you meet other individuals that are like you. And that's why we kept saying, why is it that a lot of these stories that keep coming up is that it is all about sex.
And then they have to remember, because he went for years and said that he didn't participate in same-gender living. You know that, right? You remember? He went for years saying that he wasn't. Then he graduated, and then he eventually admitted that he was bisexual, and then he went out. So it was a gradual admission of things that that we. So at first, like, okay, so what is it? What is the actual truth?
Well, I do.
You wasn't aware of those things.
No, well, listen, that was not something that I would. Our relationship was not built around that. See, our relationship was built around the mystery of the gospel, not the mystery of your sexuality. Right? When I started coming in this direction, there's certain terms I never heard of before. Like what is a bottom? What is a top? You see that laughing, right?
Nobody just said it. You just saying it.
Right, because you can see that's not my world.
Right.
If something is your world, then you live in that world and live from that world.
Right. That was like when you asked us, you said, what was pop? I said it's all hallucination.
I never knew what that was. But that's what I'm saying. You meet no one but you.
How? That is funny to me.
But I want to say that.
Yes, sir.
Let us hopefully let this season be a season where we upgrade our conversation.
Right? Yes.
And upgrade. And then ask ourselves a question: what is it in me that want to take another person down? I get it. The crab in the barrel. If you see something, you see a potential.
Yeah.
You sit there and try to snatch them down. What is it in me? But I'm gonna tell you, I found it has never been a good outcome when people.
They always say when you dig a ditch for somebody,
it's never been a good outcome.
You have to dig too.
I've known people that are no longer here with us today that have done things. People says, Bishop, listen. So we're leaving in God's hand. This is going to work this out.
Let the Lord fight your battles, because He will fight them better than we ever. And I tell people all the time, Bishop, you don't know what's growing in your body.
Well, that was the one point that I wanted to say is that if there's something brewing right now, and I'll say this as a prophet, there's something brewing right now. No good will come from it, and there'll be hospitalizations before you know it.
Mm.
And I declare that, and it is so, because when you are about the work of the kingdom, there's one thing to play with it, but it's another thing to intentionally do some things that are diabolical. It's not going to be a good ending.
No.
And I'm telling you now, it's not going to be a good ending. And we'll all get to witness it in the social media community. My prayer is,
and I believe really that it will be in the not so distant future.
Well, I'm not going to declare the timing of it, but I do know this one thing, is that what is going to be is going to be.
Mm.
But the one thing I will say is that God is not mocked. Whatsoever man sows, that shall they also reap. And they will reap what they've sown. But on that note, I think it's important that people support your platform. And we have not invited them at all to support the work that you're doing. You're in the studio here today. It's not for free. You're doing this, it's not for free. And sometimes we can be so busy doing for others that we forget to put on our face masks first. So I'm going to ask everybody that will, you've been going out for over an hour. I got to get on a flight in a couple of hours.
Yes.
And I want you to go ahead and get a seat and offer. Let's do this. Let's do a $31 seat. We got 31 more days to go into the new year.
Thank you.
So let's do $31. And if you love William McCray, you love the work that he does, you're part of his community, I'm going to ask you to support. If you can't do 30, then do 10. But I want to ask you to go ahead and to start to do something. Life gives to the giver and takes from the taker. And you've got to make the decision on who you will become today as you begin to support. So what are the ways that they can support you right now? I see $ Sir William G. McCray, III, the third. So we want you to go ahead and start giving your support in that direction.
Yes. The ways to give are posted. And Fatima, my most capable assistant, if you could please post in the chat. We have Cash App, we have Zelle, we have Venmo, and we have PayPal. And also you can utilize Super Chat for those of you that are on YouTube. We can or that are in the chat. We certainly appreciate your level of generosity and support.
And I want to also thank you, because I think a lot of times people don't get that you are, you're a journalist. You've been trained in journalism, but you're also a comedian. You do comedy. And I think sometimes people don't know how to understand comedy and tragedy. That's the one thing about comedy. And you come with the comedic side, and then you're trying to kind of bring a message subtly. And I believe that's what God's going to really give you a real ministry in that, to really perfect that and balance it, that when people leave out, they don't leave out offended, they leave out healed or impacted or left to think about something. How can we begin to bring something about in a more excellent way? So I want you to look at this not so serious. You laugh at what you can laugh with, but then you grab what you can grab out of it and use it as a moment. But all of the bloggers that are on, right?
Yes.
Even those that are not a part of us, is necessary because we want them to have a voice in the community. We're not trying to shut a person's voice down. We're only saying that when you're saying things about people, remember that they have family members, they have
Yes.
loved ones that watch you. And that was the thing that we were making William know, says, a family member that, you said something about was watching you. And also the relatives was watching you. And there's an impact. We want you to be aware of the impact.
The impact.
You can say things
Right.
without it being said. And so for you to bring this to me, kind of like about Bishop Blake this week, I was like, with Calvin Blake, I was kind of sideswiped. I said, well, spoke to him like once on the phone. I think he drove me when I was in Texas, I believe it was. And
Yeah, he's in Houston.
Yeah, drove me around in Texas. And obviously there was no reason for him to feel a need to record a conversation of me, because it was only me, him, and another person that was on that call, and then to record it, and then to send the recording to Larry, and then you tell me Larry sent it to Marcellus. Sound like I wanted to call a lawyer in the morning.
Yeah.
Because now I've got to go back to say what was actually said.
Well, I know that they didn't send me the recording, and I wasn't interested in
Well, you should see
even
if you
hearing
can get,
it.
you should see if you can get it.
Well, if there's even one.
Yeah.
See, a lot of times, a lot of people go on a narrative, Bishop, and they don't do the proper research. And then at the end of the day, there's nothing to the story. It takes me back to the Victor Cousins story. I said from the beginning, there is nothing here. That man lost his church. He lost, they I believe, stripped him in full gospel. And all he did, she was a call girl. She was never she was a sex for hire. That's what she was. And he was so ashamed.
So you said he sent it to Larry and Marcellus.
He sent, no. He contacted Larry.
Uh-huh.
And Larry, we were told, and this was already, as they say, it's already public. He sent it to Marcellus, and then also myself. And so, but it was just the forward of the email.
Mm-hmm.
He emailed them, and he emailed them saying, I have this recording, and I think, well, if one of my phones wasn't operable, I'll send you the email. Yeah, I'll send you.
Because we've had our team, they pulled out every video that they mentioned my name. We know the first time they said down low. We know we said the first blogger that said down low. We know the first one that said mother. All of this slander.
Mm-hmm.
We have all of that recorded, Tam Slander. We have a whole team that was working in the background with that.
Mm-hmm.
And they have it. But if you're saying that they've gotten this here, maybe we need to take on some serious action. I'll go for some counsel this week, now that Mercury's out of retrograde. But thank you for this data, because I'm just learning about it. But that there.
Well, I don't tell lies. That's one thing I'm not. I am a gentleman of my word. And so, and what I say, I can stand on it, and I stand firm to my convictions.
One of the things is that with the internet today, which we thank God for, proponent of AI, and I love the fact that, everybody's able to put their brains on loudspeakers. So overnight, everybody became a journalist.
Right.
But in the process of everyone becoming journalists at the same time, it's also a time where everyone needs to become responsible.
Yeah, and that's the case with Megan Thee Stallion that she has going right now.
Yeah.
That she has a blogger and influencer, and we see it. We've seen it time and time again. We saw it with Tasha K that eventually, because a lot of people will let it go, and then eventually you'll have someone that'll say, you know what, I got the time, I got the money, and I got the time, and I'm gonna deal with it. And that's what Cardi B did with Tasha. She said, no, yeah, you know, you went out on this narrative that was wrong, and then when you found out it was wrong, you doubled down and continued to insist. And so that's what's going on with the Megan Thee Stallion case, is that a blogger that was paid, an influencer that was paid by Tory Lanez, the guy that shot Megan twice, paid her to do a spin, to spin it and create a false narrative, and really victimize and attack and villainize the victim. And fortunately, it didn't work, and he was found guilty, as he most likely, rightfully so. But the damage, yeah, the damage,
Character assassination.
yeah, that had been done, and there should be some level of responsibility
And accountability.
Exactly.
Well, listen, we'll we'll work through. We'll look at it, and we'll leave it like that. Let me not say too much more.
No,
Because-
that will, we don't.
But
I'm in law school too.
But I'm getting ready to go. But thank you. You have really opened up my eyes to something. I didn't realize that was happening. But now that you've made that known, because we did have I was on a long conversation about maybe longer than I need to be, about maybe over an hour and a half, 2 hours, and it was a MESS. And I did not care for it at all.
Bishop, I thank you. I still got just what I wanted. And we wanted to have done this with you in Memphis. Well, we did it in Memphis, but you here and in person, and and thank you for sharing and seeing something in me greater than what I may have realized I saw in myself. And I'm already thinking of so many ways that I want to elevate and take on higher heights and deeper depths.
And you're gonna make it happen.
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
God bless you.
Yes. Got that early fight. Y'all, thank y'all. I can't see the comments. We can't see those of you that perhaps are hopefully gay. Fatima, please capture the name so that I can on tomorrow properly address and thank all of the people that have given and supported and shared. And again, we just thank and appreciate Bishop for taking the time to be here with us. All right, who do we have? Oh, we do have someone that did a super chat. I think that's what, 49. I don't know whoever else that may have given. Thank you. We have been on an hour and almost 50 minutes. And thank you so much to all of you that are here and watching with us. Is there any more people? Fatima, can you tell me how are we doing on likes? If everyone can hit that like button, if everyone can hit that subscribe button, all of you that are on our likes, thanks to all of our sponsors. Make sure that Pixel and Streaming Faith, that you all get on board. Get on board. Get on board. All right, we have 223 likes. Can we get at least, can I get another 100 likes before we sign off tonight? Can I get another 100 likes? You all, it does not cost anything. It does not cost anything to hit that like button. It does not cost you anything. Hit the like and subscribe button. All right. All right. If we can get more of you to hit the like button, and any other people that have given, Fatima, that you can tell me that we are not, that we're about to, that we have not seen. Tada, tada, tada. Also, I want to speak a word of encouragement to all of you in this holiday season. I know that it can sometimes, the holidays can sometimes be depressing for some of us. And for those of you that miss loved ones, have loved ones that have passed away or passed on, we definitely want to encourage you just as you go into this holiday season. Do not keep your focus. Do not let it impact you. Just stay before the Lord. Can we? How are we doing now on likes? How are we doing on likes now? Thank you. Someone says that they love the interview. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, we at 248. We're at 248 and we have 600. That is just terrible. Only have 248 likes and we got 637 people in the chat. You know, y'all came over here to see and hear, and you got the information firsthand. You could at least, with your low down tail, hit the like button. I know you don't like me. You came over here, you wanted to see because you're nosy. So at least hit the like button, at least hit the subscribe button. All right, I got 5 minutes. I got 5 minutes. Who else can send in or send in your donation so I can acknowledge you now in this last 5 minutes? I know that I was not able to see the chat. I wasn't able to, I didn't have my other phone to see who may have cash up. So those of you that will give now so that I can acknowledge you. Where's some of my faithful deacons? Where's Deaconess Earl? Where's some of my faithful people? I'm sure that you all have been in here. Where's Selena? These comments are rolling so fast. Someone says, give my love to Bishop. Yes, he is absolutely amazing. We love him. We love Bishop Jordan. Yes, 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 yes. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure. Oh, was Ty on? Oh, okay. Okay, we're up to 255 likes, and we still have 600 people. Can y'all help me with the likes a little bit? Okay. All right, and we in this closing 5 minutes. Please make sure that did we capture all of the emails and cell numbers for the people that were on Pixel and Streaming Faith? Did we get those? Did we get those individuals? Want to make sure. I want to stay in touch with you. I want to be able to text you. I want to be able to text you. Those of you that are that subscribe to my texting system. You know what? I did not put my banner up here. My banner has not been scrolling. I don't know why this thing is blue. Red is my favorite color. Well, I guess I got on blue tonight, so that's fine. Okay. All right. So now the ways to give is now rolling across the screen. If you can do that. Also, if you can text the keyword Kojic to 844-991-1883. Text Kojic to 844-991-1883. I want to stay in touch with you. I send out a text almost on a daily basis. Want to connect with you. You will always get the information first. Okay. Earl, thank you. God bless you. God bless you, Earl. Thank you for having my back. Make sure that you send your donation so I can acknowledge you. All right, you all. Okay, we got about 3 minutes. All of you. Thank y'all. Instagram, thank you all so much. Anybody? What did I do to Instagram? All right, someone just did. Someone just did. How do I put the camera back on? Oh, I turned the camera off. All right. Someone just did $20 to Cash App. All right. Y'all, I'm gonna have to get out of here. Bishop's got that early flight. He's got to get a nap. He's got to get a nap, y'all. Why don't y'all just go on and give some money so I can go on and go? Okay, we got 2 minutes. Goddess Fatima, how we doing on likes now? We're up to 262 likes. All right, y'all. Ooh. Y'all just don't know this girl has been killing me the whole time. I'm telling you, it has been pinching me in my side. And I was trying to, I couldn't get no relief. I would cut all of this. I got a razor blade. I'm going to cut all of this off as soon as I get in the car. Ugh. Woo! Okay, anybody else? Oh, y'all laughing at me. Anybody else? We got 1 minute left. We got 1 minute left. We got to get out of here. We got to go down from this place. The time is already far spent. Again, I want to thank Pixel Streaming Faith, Dr. Rodney Sampson and his team, Ramon. Shouts out to Nathan Skipper. Congratulations. He has gotten hitched. I don't know what lie he told that woman to make her marry him, but he convinced her with something. But congratulations, nevertheless, to all the folks, far refers, who else? All the people that love and support me and help me do what I do. I would not be doing anything major without you all. Thank you so much. Also, we belong to those of us that was at the summit, our community. I thank all of you for coming on and sharing the live. All of you, thank you so much. All right, we're out of here. We're out of here. Okay. That's a wrap.
Yeah.